Imagine a woman who entered the palace as nothing more than a servant, yet one day rose to become its sultan. Her life was never filled with easy trials. Instead, through her natural willpower, sharp intelligence, and unbreakable spirit, she slowly transformed into one of the most influential and powerful figures of the Ottoman court. Her story is not just about the rise of one woman, it is also the story of imperial politics, hidden intrigues, and power struggles that shaped an empire. In this video, you will follow her journey, from her childhood to her arrival at the palace, to her extraordinary relationship with Sultan Suleiman. You'll witness how palace intrigues and the dangerous games of politics worked behind the golden doors of the Ottoman Empire. Are you ready to see how one woman changed the course of imperial history? Then join us as we uncover the miraculous story of Hurrem Sultan. Stay with us, because you're about to hear 10 fascinating facts about her life that you may have never known before. Fact 1. Her name, origins, and childhood. Hurrem Sultan is not just a name. She is a symbol of one of history's most legendary women. Her real name was Alexandra Lisovska, though she later became known as Roxolana. She was born in the early 1500s in the faraway lands of Ukraine into a simple peasant family. Her childhood was quiet and modest, surrounded by the simplicity of village life. But fate had other plans. The peaceful days of her youth did not last forever. Destiny carried young Alexandra far from her village and delivered her into the heart of the Ottoman world. Taken to the palace, she suddenly found herself in a place that felt foreign, frightening, and unforgiving. Among strangers who spoke a language she did not understand, bound by strict palace rules and surrounded by endless intrigue. Yet Roxolana was far more than just a beautiful girl. With sharp intelligence, unyielding will, and strategic thinking, she learned to survive in this new world. And not only to survive, but to rise. From a village girl in Ukraine, she transformed into the most powerful woman of the Ottoman Empire. Her journey from a quiet peasant life to the magnificent yet dangerous walls of the palace shaped both her strength and her spirit. Hurrem Sultan's story proves that even the humblest beginnings, when paired with determination and intelligence, can leave an eternal mark on history. Fact 2. Her arrival at the palace and years in servitude. Alexandra, who history would later remember as Hurrem Sultan, faced one of the most dramatic turning points of her life while still a young girl. She was brought to the Ottoman palace. At that moment, she was nothing more than a slave. Her world was suddenly defined by strict rules, unfamiliar faces, and a language and culture she had never known. Every smile, every glance, every word could shape her future. To survive, she had to learn to protect herself, to think strategically, and to read the silent games of power that surrounded her. But Alexandra was not destined to remain just a servant. Deep within, she already sensed that her journey in this palace would lead her far beyond the fate of ordinary women. She would not only endure, she would rise. The leap from the quiet life of a village girl to the dazzling yet treacherous world of the Ottoman court forged her willpower, sharpened her mind, and strengthened her spirit. Every step she took in those early years was a step toward becoming one of the most unforgettable women in history. Fact 3. The first official wife of a sultan. Her marriage to Suleiman Hurrem. Sultan was not just a woman who rose within the palace. She became the first woman in Ottoman history to be officially married to a sultan. Her union with Sultan Suleiman was far more than the bond between two people. It was a turning point that reshaped the future of the empire. Suleiman the Magnificent, one of the most powerful and cautious rulers of his time, showed Hurrem a love and respect unlike any before. Through marriage, Hurrem not only secured her own position, but also gained a voice in shaping the destiny of the Ottoman state. The wedding itself and the conferral of the title Haseki Sultan marked a revolution in palace traditions. No longer was a woman in the harem seen merely as a concubine or a fleeting companion. Hurrem became a recognized official consort, a woman with influence over imperial decisions. Her marriage to Suleiman redefined the role of women in the Ottoman court and opened the door to a new era where female power could shape the course of history. Fact 4. Hurrem Sultan's children, heirs of the future. For Hurrem Sultan, power and influence in the palace were not measured solely by her own position. Her life was also defined by her children. After her marriage to Sultan Suleiman, Hurrem gave birth to heirs who would carry the future of the empire. Her first son Mehmed, though short-lived, was the first expression of Hurrem's deep maternal love. Her only daughter, Mihima, grew into a formidable woman within palace politics, continuing her mother's legacy of strategic brilliance. The third child, Selim II, would later ascend to the Ottoman throne, directly shaping the destiny of the empire. Her fourth son, Bayazid, became a prominent figure in palace intrigues, remembered as a key heir, and her youngest, Cihangir, despite health challenges, symbolized the unwavering love and care of a devoted mother. Hurrem did more than love her children. She prepared them for leadership. Each child, guided by her sharp intelligence and unyielding will, grew into a figure with influence within the empire. Together, they became living legacies of Hurrem Sultan's vision, strategy, and enduring power, leaving an unforgettable mark on history. Fact 5. Hurrem Sultan and Mahidevran Sultan. The battle for power in the palace. Hurrem Sultan did not settle for simply winning Sultan Suleiman's affection. She played strategic games to secure her power and influence within the palace. Yet her rise was not easy for others to accept. Mahidevran Sultan, Suleiman's former consort and the mother of his first son, saw Hurrem's ascent as a direct threat to her own position. The rivalry that began in the harem was far more than personal competition. It evolved into intense political intrigue surrounding the future of the empire and the succession of heirs. The tension between Mahidevran and Hurrem became one of the most notable examples of palace power struggles. Hurrem, with her intelligence, strategic thinking, and relentless will, turned this rivalry to her advantage, transforming herself into a symbol of female power within the Ottoman court. This episode shows that power and influence in the Ottoman palace were never simple. Every step had to be carefully calculated, and every action could shape the future of the empire. Fact 6. Hurrem Sultan and Prince Mustafa. Hurrem Sultan's power and influence in the palace affected not only her own life, but also the fate of her children. Prince Mustafa, Sultan Suleiman's firstborn with Mahidevran Sultan, was the empire's most important heir. Yet for Hurrem, Mustafa represented both a rival and a political obstacle. Hurrem wanted to secure Sultan Suleiman's attention and ensure the future of her own sons, particularly Selim and her other children. This inevitably led to tension with Mustafa. Their relationship became one of the most dramatic examples of power struggles in the Ottoman court. Mustafa, supported by his mother Mahidevran, was a strong candidate for the throne, a prince worthy of ruling. Even Hurrem recognized his qualities. It is said that she once told him, "I wish you were my son, but that could never be." The succession allowed room for only a limited number of heirs. As Hurrem's influence over Sultan Suleiman grew, Mustafa gradually fell out of favor. Through her political maneuvering and strategic use of palace intrigue, Mustafa came to be seen as a threat to the empire's future. Ultimately, by Suleiman's decision, Mustafa was removed from the palace and later executed. This tragic episode highlights the ruthless realities of palace politics, where even the most capable and deserving heirs could be caught in the deadly games of power. Fact 7. Hurrem Sultan and Ibrahim Pasha. The struggle for power in the palace. Hurrem Sultan was constantly at the center of attention in the palace to strengthen her political influence. At the same time, Grand Vizier Ibrahim Pasha, as Sultan Suleiman's close and powerful advisor, played a major role in palace politics. However, tension between Hurrem Sultan and Ibrahim Pasha was always present because both were among the Sultan's closest confidants. Ibrahim Pasha supported Prince Mustafa, and with his power, Mustafa's influence in the palace could grow, a serious threat to Hurrem Sultan. As Hurrem's influence increased, Ibrahim Pasha felt his position and power were at risk. Through her intelligent and strategic actions, Hurrem not only strengthened her own position, but also managed Sultan Suleiman's attention, reducing Ibrahim Pasha's influence. This confrontation remains one of the most dramatic examples of the secret games and intrigues of the Ottoman palace. Thanks to Hurrem's intelligence and willpower, Ibrahim Pasha fell out of favor, and partly due to his own arrogance, also lost Sultan Suleiman's trust. Fact 8. The Secret Room, Palace Secrets in Hurrem's Strategic Mind. Hurrem Sultan was known not only for her beauty and charm, but also for her intelligence and strategic skill. Being at the heart of the palace, the divan meetings, where crucial political and economic decisions were made, held immense importance for her. To gain insight, she built a secret room with the help of her trusted ally, Sumbul Aya. This hidden chamber acted as a window into the palace's deepest secrets and intrigues. Hurrem did not stop at merely observing palace politics. She carefully analyzed every word, every glance, and every gesture to craft her own strategic plans. This clever and secretive move strengthened her power and influence within the palace and cemented her reputation in Ottoman history as a master of intrigue. Fact 9. Hurrem Sultan and Charity, Power Beyond the Palace. Hurrem Sultan was not only involved in palace intrigues and political games, she also made a lasting impact on the people of the Ottoman Empire. Looking beyond the walls of the palace, her attention turned to the welfare and social conditions of the population. She dedicated significant resources to the construction of hospitals, schools, and mosques. Hurrem did not simply spend her wealth. Every project she undertook directly improved the daily lives of ordinary people. Roads, water canals, and charitable works made her name respected and loved across Ottoman lands. Hurrem Sultan demonstrated her power beyond the palace, but this time not through strategy or intrigue, but through service and compassion. Fact 10. Hurrem Sultan's later years and death. Hurrem Sultan's life was long and dramatic, filled with palace intrigues, power struggles, love, and strategy. Yet, like all great lives, hers reached its final chapter. As she aged, Hurrem gradually stepped back from the daily affairs of the palace. Her health began to decline, and the woman who had once been one of the most powerful figures in the empire slowly receded into history's background. Medical historians suggest that she died in 1558 of natural causes, likely due to illness and weakened health. However, some historians also point to the possibility that she may have been poisoned by her enemies, a final reflection of the treacherous world she had navigated her entire life. Hurrem Sultan's passing marked the end of an era, but her legacy, her intelligence, and her indomitable spirit left an eternal mark on Ottoman history. Hurrem Sultan's life shows us that intelligence, willpower, and strategic thinking can make a person unforgettable in history. If you enjoy such dramatic and inspiring historical stories, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, and stay updated with our latest videos. Let's explore the miraculous stories of history together.